just to avoid that Sunday morning. Any questions? We're still to start. Open prayer. Spotlight and now so we kind of mill around. Milling around.
It'd be nice to know who would.
Yeah, they have a big deal. I am here. Okay. No, that's good. We were just checking to see if we had some.
Alright, so.
That's all. Yeah.
Well, I've got a page top up there.
Oh, it turns out to be a lot of stuff up here.
Okay.
I'm going to put this in for anybody that wants it in the future. I'll put it here. So I'm just Joyce and Saracen and kitchen.
Alright, so I'm gonna leave, once she's done, I'll pop it down here because I've got my laptop going.
Yeah. Okay. I brought my own.
Okay,
So
do you want me to
this
leave
can
it set here? Or do you
No,
want to just
you
bring
can
it with?
just put it underneath after they're done here.
Okay,
And then I brought my own for Joyce and Sarah, so
Okay.
I'll bring it up with me.
okay,
Okay?
sounds good.
Great. Do you want something in the book about Father's Day? In the Joyce and Sarah's book?
Such as about my father, or?
No, anybody. But I have that poem I'm going to read, and you have, so we don't have.
Yeah, but if you wouldn't mind just saying something like Happy Father's Day to.
Yeah, that gets into.
No,
Yeah,
I'm
it gets
already,
into stuff.
I'm already
Let's just
talking
leave
about it
Yeah.
here, so.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay.
Are you nervous?
A little bit,
Yeah, you'll be fine.
a little bit. I need my glasses.
1, 2, 1, 2, very loud. 1, 2, 3. One, two, 1, 2, 3. Yes. Yeah.
Do I use this? Good morning. My name's Darcy Anderson. I'm a member of the Board of Trustees for this esteemed and beautiful structure. I welcome you to our service. Unitarian Universalism encourages an open-ended search for the meaning of life and a commitment to asking our values shape our actions. We're a pluralistic religion that draws wisdom from many sources. We welcome all people into our beloved community of whatever age, race, class, ethnicity, physical ability, sexual orientation, gender identity, or religious background. We especially welcome those of you who may be worshiping with us for the first time. Guests are always welcome to participate in any activities in our community. Our welcome team members are wearing green name badges and are ready to answer any questions you may have if you're a visitor or a new member to the congregation. Pastoral care team members are wearing yellow name badges and are able to talk with you in the event you have life transitions and are in need of assistance. We invite everyone to join us after service downstairs for coffee and snacks so that we can get to know each other better. Thank you again for being with us today. Many blessings.
Does anyone have a spotlight for this morning? Thank you. That was absolutely beautiful. Ah, so, oh my gosh, I'm so thirsty.
I'm thirsty again.
Thank you. I love dad jokes, they're the best. Um, my name is Gale Springer, and I welcome you to today's service. My opening words this morning are taken by Reverend Nikki Johnson, who is the author of Finding Our Way Home, a spiritual journey into Earth community. She also blogs on spirituality and ecology at Finding Our Way Home. She is a retired Unitarian Universalist minister out of Portland, Maine. Each of us has gifts and wounds from those who fathered us. This is inevitable. Even the best of fathers in the world would disappoint their children sometimes. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to grow up. But I know that some wounds are deeper than others. Some people's hearts have been broken by their father's neglect or abuse, or by the absence of good fathering in their lives. When Father's Day comes along, while it might be joyful for some, it can bring up the pain others carry from painful relationships with their fathers. It can also trigger grief and sadness for those who have lost their fathers, or whose fathers' lives have been diminished from illness or old age. So let this be a day when we can honor our fathers and also honor our fathering wounds. Jane Myers-Drew, a psychologist, whose father died when she was only a toddler, wrestled with the question of how to recover from fathering wounds. She offers some guidance for healing in her book, Where Were You When I Needed You, Dad? She says that first of all, we must increase our awareness of our father's impact on us. We must define what we missed from our dad when we were young, and what we received from him. Then we must get in touch with any hurt and anger we may be holding on to regarding our dad, and make room for expressing our feelings, mourning, and letting go of our pain. When we have honored our feelings, we are able to look again at our father, seeing him as a human being in his own right, and cultivating a deeper understanding of his situation. This will help us to say goodbye to the dad of our youth and release any expectations we have that can no longer be fulfilled. Then we turn to healing the child within, reconnecting with that young part of ourselves who wanted to be nurtured and treasured by a tender father. We try to become our own good father, finding ways to fill in for the experiences we missed with our dad. Fathering ourselves will be different for each one of us. Each of us had a unique childhood experience, different gifts and wounds that we received. For some, it may not be simple or easy to undo the damage of childhood. But even if we didn't receive all the fathering we needed from our biological fathers or other childhood caregivers, we can receive fathering from others, even as adults. All of us as adults can learn to parent ourselves and each other, to share the gifts we received from our fathers, and to heal from the wounds of our childhoods. We can adopt father figures to help us to learn what we didn't learn from our own parents. Father figures are those who believe in us, who treat us like we're special. It might be as simple as a neighbor who teaches us how to wash and wax our car. It might be an art teacher who encourages us to draw or paint. Or even a friend who listens to our struggles and confusion. Part of growing up is realizing that our fathers are human beings with gifts and failings. Part of growing up is letting go of needing our fathers to be better than they were. This is easier to do if we realize that we can offer and receive fathering from others. When we do this, we are also better to honor the gifts and forgive the wounds that we have received from our fathers. Thanks, Dad. No, that's okay. So it's going to storm, and that's awesome. But right now, I would like to invite you in joining me in the lighting of our chalice. The words are in your order of service and are up on the screen. In the light of truth. So please join me in our opening song and stand if you're willing or able. Number 346, Come Sing a Song with Me. And the words will also be up on the page. I now welcome up Ken Johnson for our message for all ages. We're not doing, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't write that on my computer. Let's greet each other this morning. Basically, it's greeting the holy in our midst, so let's greet each other. Good morning. Oh, my God. So the extrovert in me loves this part. The extrovert in me loves this part. The introvert in me hates this part.
I understand.
I really hate doing that because the extrovert inside of me loves this part of the service and the introvert part of me hates this part of service when everybody's greeting each other. Now I will welcome up Ken for the words of all ages.
And I'm going to keep my jacket on because I'm really cold today and I don't know why. Thank you. So Gale had asked me to talk either about being a father or about my father. And I want to be able to say that my father was a complicated man, but I didn't know. And I'm not saying that he wasn't around. He just never told me any of his feelings or any of his emotions. When he was in high school, his father died really early. And so my dad decided that he had to become the man of the family. And to him, the man of the family was like some 1940s businessman that came in and, set his briefcase down and had supper that was already prepared. So like he didn't know how to be a dad. He didn't know how to be a father. He just thought he knew. And I don't blame him for it. We had the good times. I retold the story of playing pitch and catch with him, and that was his love language. His love language was doing things for his kids. He never said I loved you. He didn't say I loved you until I moved away up here in Iowa when I was 24, 25. And that was the first time that he actually hugged me or said, I love you. And that was my dad. And I was like, I mean, that's my dad, but that's kind of boring. I really shouldn't be talking about him. I could, but that's it. Otherwise, he sat in a chair and watched TV. Westerns with my sister, actually. So I thought, I'm not going to talk about myself because I could do that all day long, and nobody really wants to hear that as me being a father. But being in the field that I work in, I do see a lot of other families and a lot of other fathers. And I got to tell you what, they come in all shapes and sizes. I have seen fathers who have been extremely active in their child's lives. I have seen fathers that look at me and say, I don't understand how it is that you can be around kids all day long, because they just scare the ever-living poop out of me. And it was much like what Gale was saying about they're their own people. They have their own experiences. They're their own person. And I feel like sometimes being a dad used to be about walling that separate person off and presenting the father. I'm the dad. I'm in charge. You're going to do what I have to say. And when you're little, yeah, sure. Okay, dad, go ahead and do that. But when you're a teenager and dads do that, that doesn't go too well. But it still comes back to parents being their own person. And for my dad in his experiences, he saw fathers as the TV dad. And I had found a little written word by Ryan Urey called The Complex Feelings on Father's Day. And this kind of spoke to me because this was some of my experiences with my dad, and my dad thinking that the patriarchy should be one way. But growing up and seeing all sorts of other people and saying, but it's not, and still having a weird connection with my own father. So Ryan Urey wrote, Father's Day is an important time to check in with our complex feelings this day may invoke. The ideal of the wise, patient, loving, all-knowing provider was never more than a useful television trope. At its best, this idea gives people a positive role in child rearing to aspire to, but at its worst, cast patriarchy in a benevolent light as the natural order of things. And it also creates an impossible standard for new fathers to live up to that denies the messy, frustrating realities and the constant failings that are part and parcel of parenthood. Sometimes it feels like Father's Day is more about enshrining a myth than about facing the realities of fatherhood that often fall so short. For some of us, the story of fatherhood is about love, acceptance, and guidance, but for others, it is a story of rejection, abuse, shame, or abandonment. For some, it is a story of nurturance, but for others, it is marked by frustration and resentment. A story of burdens and unrealized dreams. For some, fatherhood is the longing for children unborn or lost to death or estrangement. Many of us have no fathers at all. Whatever your story and whatever your feelings about having or not having, being or not being a father, we honor your unique experiences today. And I invite you to let your experience be what it is without measuring it against false ideas. Whether your Father's Day may be anything but a celebration, the force of this idea of father affects us all in one way or another. Let us take a moment to go inward and experience the thoughts and feelings we have around the concept of father. If what you're feeling is love, then I invite you to bask in the warmth and let it fill you. If what you're feeling is pain or rage, then hold it gently and listen as it wails its lament. If what you're feeling is sorrow, let yourself be slowly rocked by its waves. And if what you're experiencing is longing of a child abandonment, then cradle the inner child and offer it the unconditional acceptance of love. Being a father is a weird thing. It really is. Y'all know it. Kids are crazy. I moved your thing and I apologize for that. Kids are crazy. But it's all right because everybody's going through it. Everybody's been a kid. Maybe not everybody's going to be a father, but sometimes you might be a father in unexpected ways. And for that, good Lord, good luck. Now, if you want to go downstairs, kids, we'll do something.
Good morning. Hi, I'm Barbara Thompson, a member of the Pastoral Care Associates Ministry team. As we gather today, we pause to reflect on what lies in our hearts. In this time of sharing, we take a moment to recognize our personal joys and sorrows and to read from the Book of Joys and Sorrows, those personal life events you've chosen to share with us. And we have a few things today. From Ann Harrington, keeping our Tolliver family in our thoughts as they celebrated the ending of life of a family member, and they held their service here yesterday. Our longtime member and dear friend, Sue Whitty, has passed away. Her celebration of life service will be here at the church on July 1st. From Lori McCullum. Doug had a cochlear implant surgery on Thursday and is doing well. He'll rejoin us in a couple of weeks when it's activated. His hearing is quite limited at this time. And from Deb Katsunas, today is the actual 5-year date from my cancer diagnosis. I want to thank Barb for being my pastoral support the whole time. Also, on my 70th birthday, I auditioned for a play and got the part at the Spotlight Theater. Let us become aware of the energy that brings us together in beloved community as we share a time of silent meditation. May we open our minds and hearts to a place of quiet to a silent prayer for healing of pain and the comfort of love. For what has been shared and for what remains in the quiet sanctuary of our hearts, we are grateful. We close our meditation with the words of Edgar Guest, Only a Dad. Only a dad with a tired face, coming home from the daily race, bringing little of gold or fame to show how well he has played the game, but glad in his heart that his own rejoice to see him come and to hear his voice. Only a dad with a brood of 4, one of 10 million men or more, plodding along in the daily strife, bearing the whips and the scorns of life, with never a whimper of pain or hate for the sake of those who at home await. Only a dad, neither rich nor proud, merely one of the surging crowd, toiling, striving from day to day, facing whatever may come his way, silent whenever the harsh condemn, and bearing it all for the love of them. Only a dad, but he gives his all to smooth the way for his children small, doing with courage stern and grim the deeds that his father did for him. This is the line that for him I pen, only a dad, but the best of men. And you are invited to come forward and light a candle.
Really good timing by some of you, John. Now we will take our weekly offering. This congregation is supported by the pledges of our members and by friends. The offering provides an additional opportunity for expressing generosity by those attending in today's worship. We are sharing the plate offering this month with QC Pride in memory. Please be as generous as you can. We have some special music. I'm loving all the music today. So my dad would too.
What do you guys expect to see?
Don't take a boy, turn him into a soldier. Don't teach a boy how to kill. Don't take a boy and teach him to be tough. He will learn that soon enough. Yes, he will. Don't take a boy and bury his feelings. Buried feelings will not make a man. Don't take a boy, teach him life's dirty dealings. Take a boy, hold him tight while you can. Just let the flower grow, and the man that you will know will have the strength of which you dream. And someday he'll be grown, have a mind all his own. thinking thoughts that run clear, and thoughts that run beautiful. Like a clear crystal stream.
Before I go on to my reflection, I just want to say a special thank you to Erica Pickerel for doing this beautiful slideshow. So earlier we were talking about the wounds of our fathers, but my dad, he was the greatest dad. He was the best man I ever knew. And yeah, I have a few wounds from him, but he was a great man. And I know there are a lot of people who don't have good relationships with their fathers, which is why I wanted to acknowledge that earlier. My dad was number 11 of 15 children. There's 9 boys, 6 girls. My grandparents were saints and Catholic. My dad, as soon as he finished high school, he went straight into the Navy. So thanks to him being a Navy man, I got to move around a lot. You know, and my dad wasn't perfect, like I said, by any means. My dad was an alcoholic. So when I was in 3rd grade, I finally realized what that meant. I love that that's happening because that's something my dad would do. He would have things go off saying that there's lightning. So, Taryn, thank you. It's like he's talking to me today. So, but I didn't know what an alcoholic was. You know, all I remember is I remember going and fetching beers out of the refrigerator. And I remember Saturday mornings, my dad taking me to the bar with him, and I would play pinball and drink my Shirley Temple and eat peanuts while he sat at the bar and just chewed the fat with his friends. You know, and then we'd walk home and he'd be drunk and my mom would be mad, and I didn't know what that meant. And when he finally sobered up, like I said, when I was in 3rd grade, he started going to AA and he sobered up. I realized what that meant. I wasn't mad, though. It was just who my dad was. He wasn't a mean drunk. He was just a drunk. But once he sobered up, he found other things to amuse himself, and he involved me in those things, like refinishing wood furniture that he would junk out of somebody else's trash. He'd get on the floor and play games with me and my siblings. And he would also have an immaculate yard. That yard would be mowed within an inch of its life. But wherever we lived, no matter what we did, my father was always learning and growing. He was the only person I knew that could type with 2 fingers faster than I could type with all 10. He was always teaching and supporting and being there. My dad did say, "I love you." He did hug me. Of course, there was the time when Hera was a senior in high school, 16 years old. I got chickenpox. Go team. Laying on my bed or in the couch or whatever. My dad comes home, he looks at me, he goes, "Gale, you look like a huge zit." Okay, at the time it really hurt and I cried. I was really upset. I was 16. I get that it's funny now. But it didn't scar me for life either. You know, and then of course it was always the obligatory, "Dad, I'm bored." I'm Dad. So thank you guys for joining in on that this morning. With everything I experienced with my father, I am so glad that we have today to honor and remember all of our fathers, our mentors, our father figures. But then I got to wondering, well, who invented Father's Day? How did this come about? Well, there's at least 2 or 3 different people who are credited with that honor, but the most historians will consider Sandra Smart Dodd of Washington State to be the first person to have proposed this holiday in 1910. Dodd's father, a Civil War veteran. His name was William Smart. Dodd's father was left with 6 children after her mother died giving birth. Left him a widower, and he had to raise these children on his own. And when Sandra Dodd married and had her own children, she realized what a tremendous job her father had done in raising her and her siblings as a single parent. So after hearing her pastor give a sermon about the newly established Mother's Day, Sandra Dodd suggested to him that there should also be a Father's Day and proposed the date to be on June 5th, which was her father's birthday. However, the pastor needed more time to prepare for the sermon, so he moved it to June 19th, the 3rd Sunday of the month. Dodd spent years campaigning for Father's Day to be celebrated nationally. She commissioned the help from men's good manufacturers and others who might benefit from a Father's Day, such as the makers of ties, tobacco, pipes, other products that would make suitable gifts for fathers. In 1983, a Father's Day Council was founded by New York Associated Men's Wear retailers to help with this widespread promotion of Father's Day. Still, with all of that, the public continued to resist this idea. Many Americans believed that an official Father's Day would be just another way for retailers to make money, since the popularity of Mother's Day boosted sales for the gifts of mothers. So how was it made official? Well, as early as 1913, bills had been submitted to Congress to recognize Father's Day nationally. In 1916, President Woodrow Wilson pushed to make Father's Day official, but he couldn't muster enough support from Congress. In 1924, President Calvin Coolidge would also recommend that the Father's Day be observed, but he did not go so far as to issue a national proclamation. Finally, in 1957, Margaret Chase Smith, a senator from Maine, wrote a proposal that accused Congress of ignoring fathers for 40 years while only honoring mothers. But it wasn't until 1966 when President Lyndon Johnson finally signed a presidential proclamation that made the 3rd Sunday of June Father's Day. In 1972, President Richard Nixon made Father's Day a permanent national holiday. And here we are. So how do we honor these men in our lives? Regardless of the relationship you have or had with your father, it is up to you on how this day is treated. As I stated in my opening reading, quote, "Father figures are those who believe in us, who treat us like we're special." It might be as simple as a neighbor who teaches us how to wax and wash the car. It might be an art teacher who encourages us to draw or paint. It might be a piano player who teaches us how to sing, or a friend who listens to and helps us with our struggles and confusion. Unquote. Hold these words in your heart and find ways to honor the fathers, the men, the figures in your life. So mote it be. Please join me now in our closing hymn, number 409, "Sleep, My Child," and please rise in body and or spirit. if you could please join me in the extinguishing of our chalice. The words are in your order of service and on the screen. Until we are together again. You can sit. My closing words is a Father's Day meditation by Rod Richards. On this Father's Day, we recognize the vast spectrum of experience and the often complicated feelings that surround such a celebration. We honor those fathers and father figures in our lives who have loved, supported, encouraged, and instructed us, and we seek to share these gifts with others. We mourn with those who mourn the loss of a father and fathers who mourn the loss of a child. Whether separated by death or estrangement, we support those for whom this day brings pain and sorrow, who suffered abandonment, neglect, and abuse. We support and celebrate the fathers in our midst who give of themselves to their children, recognizing all the strength and wisdom and stamina and love, as well as the time and honest introspection that fatherhood requires. We support those men who choose not to have children, yet who are present in loving and supportive ways to children, youth and adults alike. And we seek to honor wherever we find ourselves today across this vast spectrum of experience, and to feel the compassion that embraces us with this silence. Everybody have a great day. Happy Father's Day to all of you, and thank you for being here and listening.
Yeah.